Yo, hey Harrison,
Howdy, Alice.
how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. How's your morning going?
Doing good. I woke up late. That's fine. How's your morning going?
Amazing. I tidied my flat and then I wanted a drink and I didn't have anything that wasn't water, apart from cider. So it's 1 o'clock and I've already got my second like can of cider. So I'm kind of like I don't normally drink, but I'm like, well, I just do it for the flavor, not because I want to get drunk. So I'm
Right.
like,
What are you
it's a
doing?
Friday. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Um, yeah, it's not been very eventful. I played a bit of Hades,
Yeah,
and then I'm here.
man. I'm playing Hollow Knight right now. That's a good one.
What are you playing at the moment, like including Hollow Knight?
Um, sorry. Like what?
What are you playing at the moment, like including Hollow Knight?
Playing Hollow Knight. I just finished Final Fantasy VII remake. That's I love that shit. That was amazing.
Those
That's
ending like two boss fight and no, and the Rufus one.
yeah.
That like and then like the bike chase as well. Like that entire like last chapter or so is just nuts. It's fucking nuts.
I stayed up till like 4 in the morning just so I could finish it the night
That
before.
Sephiroth fight is so good.
It's amazing.
It's nuts, man.
And even
It's
like the
so
fight
nuts.
before it is great.
Oh my god.
I don't know, man.
Like
Just like it's just like when you stagger an enemy and you have like a limit break already like saved up.
yeah,
You
it
like so
feels so
much
good.
damage. It's amazing.
When you've like you stagger an enemy, you've got like you got three limit breaks saved up, and then you've got like the right magic that's gonna like do extra damage to them, and it's just like, oh baby,
Amazing.
it feels so good.
I can't wait to do that again on hard mode. I'm gonna do that
It's
soon.
good. It's challenging. The main difference is just that you can't rely on magic at all.
Hmm.
Um, so like you just have to like get the chakra and like prayer materials and just use that to heal people instead.
Yeah.
But once you get used to it, it's not hard. The Sephiroth fight at the end on hard mode is difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That
It's
is
hard
that
on
is
normal
that
anyway.
is difficult. But the hardest thing in the entire game is the like simulation missions.
Yeah.
So the all of the platinum's pretty easy, but those simulation missions get tough. Like you have to fight Bahamut, who's like one of the like hardest summons already to fight on normal mode. And you have to fight him on hard mode, and then halfway through the fight, he summons Ifrit to come and like assist him in the fight. It's fucking like ridiculously hard. And then like the ones that they added with integrate, which are like the Weiss one,
Yeah.
it's really weird because like I realized that if you use like Fire Arga and like the Blizz Arga, like the really high powered spells, they do so much damage against these bosses. And so what you end up doing is you just make a build that means that Tifa, well, this is what I did anyway, because it was the only way I could like do it like reasonably. You get one that's Tifa who just runs around the arena while the others are like building up charge. And then you switch back to them quickly, cast like a mega fire spell to stagger him, do loads of damage, and then keep running around. And like it works, so why not? But it's like it's a very weird way of playing the game where you're relying on like super powerful spells to do shit.
Hmm.
But hard mode, yeah, hard mode's good. You just can't really use magic much. Or when you do, you have to like make it a special one. But yeah,
Yeah.
five FF7 remake is pretty fun,
Yeah.
man.
I love that stuff. And intermission's great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just like a
In,
nice little. And that last boss fight's really fun with Nero.
yeah, intermission's really cool. Yuffie has such great gameplay.
Yeah, she's
And
fun.
like after playing seven and going to intermission, you know what that whole thing of like synchronized attacks where you like synergize them together so they're attacking together. I feel like that is definitely going to be a thing in like the part two.
Yeah, definitely.
Like depending on your party makeup, there'll be like synergized attacks and shit. And that's boy, what the fuck are they gonna do with part two?
I can't wait. What am I gonna like travel around the world? Because like there was no vehicle like for the first like half or so like of the original Final Fantasy VII. So I'm not sure like how they're gonna make traveling like not boring.
I've no idea. I mean, the thing, at the end of intermission, they show they like actually arrive at Calm, the first
Yeah,
town. So I feel like maybe this next one is going to open with the flashback of Sephiroth and Cloud like in that village
yeah.
burning down. But the thing is, like, I really don't think the games are going to follow the same narrative now.
I reckon it'll be close, but it'll divert a lot.
I feel like what this is all building to is you're going to play it as Zack at some point in like this alternative dimension,
Right.
because that's kind of what it's implying. And then like the final battle is going to be Cloud and Zack versus Sephiroth, which I've never played Crisis Core, so I don't have too much attachment to him as a character. But I know someone out there is thinking about that and like having an aneurysm.
I really want to play Crisis Core. It looks like a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
me too. They're putting it in that anthology thing, aren't they, on mobile?
Yeah, I want to play the actual game, but I want to play
Yeah,
that.
and it's only on PSP. You can probably emulate it.
Yeah, it can. But
Yeah. So I'm playing. Shit, what am I playing? I've been playing a lot of Hades. I put about 40 hours into Hades now.
that's a lot.
Hades is a real good game. It's really good. It's a roguelike where every time you die, you don't get upset because you're like, well, that's fine because I'm going to further like the narrative half of the game.
Right.
Because like all of the stuff that isn't combat is like a dating sim,
Okay.
or kind of like where you like build up relationships with individual people. And so like every time you die and you have to go back to the house, you're not like, oh shit, as such. You're like, oh cool, well, I can go see what's happening with this person and this person.
There's like update every time you go back.
Yeah, every time.
That's pretty cool.
I've done 70 escape attempts, 70 runs, and every single time there's been new dialogue.
That's a lot of writing.
Yeah, it's a ton of writing. I've I put 40 hours into it. I've reached the initial ending, and then there's like an epilogue ending, which is like so much work to get to. So we'll see. We'll see. It's starting to you know, it's starting to. I'm trying to say outweigh its welcome.
Say?
Outstay. That's it.
Yeah.
It's starting to outstay its welcome a little bit, just in the fact of like, okay, like this is cool, and you're varying it up slightly here and there, but I'm kind of like, I kind of want new bosses now. Like I want new fights. I want new enemy types.
Yeah.
And the worst you can do is like ramp up the difficulty of the bosses so they have new moves and stuff. And it's like, no, I want like new content.
Yeah. I suppose you have to put 40 hours into it.
Yeah. I mean, there's people who put thousands of hours into it, and like it's all about maximizing your build, but it's just very fun. It's a very fun game that has a really good narrative and is really engaging the whole way through. And like you just want to keep playing when you die. It's one of the things where you're like, oh, I'll do one more run before I go to bed, and then suddenly it's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and you're like, I need to go to bed.
Those are the best.
It's a good game. It's a really good game, and it's like £19 on Amazon at the moment, so I suggest you get it.
Okay.
when you've got like time to play something else, it's really good. It's really good.
You been playing anything else?
What was I playing? Oh, and I've reinstalled Last of Us 2 because I want to play it again. I've seen a lot of like 30-second gameplay clips of really cool like action sequences, and I'm like, I want to play that again on Grounded.
It's just like a wide, like it's although like it's a very like linear game, it's got a lot going on that really is not telegraphed.
I was thinking about that. It's like when I finished God of War 2018 or Spider-Man, right? By the end of it, you're like, I've seen everything this game has to offer. I've seen all the animations, all the special moves and everything like you can do, right? With Last of Us 2, I see shit pop up and it's like, I've never seen that play out ever.
Yeah.
Or it's like, it's because the whole game is so circumstantial about environment and like awareness state and all sorts of things. It's like, there's so much I probably haven't experienced just in those, even though I platinumed the game. But I'm also just excited to like, I don't know, man. I haven't played it on the PS5 version yet, which has like the updated frame rates and all of the other extras and stuff. So I'm like, sure, be a good time.
That game still needs a challenge mode. That'd be
It needs a horde mode.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. The combat is so like endlessly visceral and fun that it would just work. But maybe with factions, which is coming when? Because it's been 2 years now since the actual game came out. It's nearly 2 years. So
it's only been like a year and 3 months.
Still nearly 2 years. Anything over a year and 1 month is nearly 2 years. But I am hyped as fuck for Sifu.
Yeah, that looks fun, man. That's
That
all.
is like my most anticipated game at the moment.
Yeah.
I can't fucking wait.
Yeah. I mean, like that kind of like because when I heard like the combat was like Sleeping Dogs and Batman Arkham, I'm like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah, but it's also like apparently it's like super difficult.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's similar in a roguelike sense where it's like every time you. So I was watching the previews for it, because they've done a few like 10-minute previews for it, and people were saying it's like there's 5 kung fu masters who each have their own lair, and every time you die, you hit harder, but you can take less damage.
That's cool.
And then you get a bit older, and then if you get too old, you will just have to start from the beginning.
It sounds like an arcade game with like the 5 layers and like it sounds like an arcade game with like the 5 layers and the 5 different masters.
I hope there's a fucking trophy that's like get through all 5 layers without aging.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that shit. I don't know what it is about Sifu. I think I really appreciate animation, like great animation, and the game is like centered on that.
And it's also just like just look at the previews, just how much like the enemies interact with the environment and how they interact with the environment, and like being able to like and if you like was it like if you you can like just like pick up cans and throw them, throw them, and if you like hit somebody with and if you throw something on the floor, like it'll snap in half and an enemy can slip on it, and stuff like that. And that's
it's game development's not focusing on vastness as much as it is on focus. It's like rather than having 10 layers and all these different enemies, it's like no, you've got these 5 things with definitive rooms and environments because it's not randomly generated. But within that there are so many like options and like traversal things that like just down to like, oh, if there's too many enemies around you, you can just vault over a sofa or like climb up a wall or something to get yourself in a better like. So you'll start, and they were saying we're trying to emulate like a Jackie Chan like kung fu style like fight sequence. And I'm like, bro, I'm so hyped for Sifu. Shit looks so good. I probably will play Horizon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna replay Zero Dawn towards the end of the year, and then I'll see how I feel about that. And if I still don't really care for it, I probably will just wait until Horizon's on sale, like the new one.
Fair enough. They did just do that 60 FPS patch, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Horizon was just the one that never really did anything for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
Big PlayStation exclusive that's done that.
Yeah.
Much of an impact.
It's just not ever really hit in many ways for me. So, talking about PlayStation exclusives, last night was the big showcase. Basically, I'd consider it PlayStation's equivalent of their E3 conference, right?
Yeah, pretty much, I'd say.
Yeah. And all over it was kind of fine, but then it sort of ended on like
the last 10 minutes.
The last 10 minutes were just astonishing. And it's almost like the whole thing isn't like the best thing they've ever done. But I kind of feel like if they had just taken those 4 last announcements and peppered them throughout instead, it would have made the whole thing so much stronger as like an entire conference.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But it's also like I feel like part of what made it so effective was that they were going back to back to back with like huge announcements. Yeah. So I don't know. I had a very good time towards the end of last night. I freaked out a little bit. It was pretty cool. I'll just go through like everything that was announced.
Yeah.
Just go through sequentially. So the first thing they started off with was that weird city trailer with the chest shit. And I didn't notice it, but you noticed it. There's actually that key art of Kratos and Atreus in the background of one shot.
Painting thing, yeah.
Yeah, which is actually now what they've got as key art for Ragnarok.
Okay.
So it was sort of a teaser for the rest of it. I didn't see it. And then the first proper announcement was Knights of the Old Republic remake.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I feel like if you really care about BioWare RPGs, like that is probably as big as it gets.
Yeah.
I've never played KOTOR.
I did play it as a kid when I was like 9, but I know I didn't get far, and I was probably very bad at it. But
I feel like the biggest thing, they're doing a from the ground up remake with the same narrative, but I'm like, I feel like it's a really good opportunity to take it out of like turn-based combat and stuff.
I don't think the original was turn-based. Well, was it?
I think it was.
Very well.
Whatever it was, it wasn't. It was probably more like Diablo style.
Yeah, it was more close to
Yeah,
that.
but even then, it's like I feel like if you make this game with a really polished combat system in it, you've got something real special Star Wars wise on your hands. Now you've got like a fully fledged Star Wars RPG with great combat systems, and it's currently exclusive to PlayStation and PC.
I reckon it'll be. I reckon it will only be on PlayStation for at least like the first year.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
And then there was this weird fucking one, which we branded Chinese shit as it started, but it's a Project Eve, which as it went on and on, I was like, okay, this actually looks kind of fucking cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
A lot.
Combat.
I think it was like how linear some of the environments were, but also just like the way that the combat looked, the way that the camera was like situated, all the rest of it. So that's not really a bad thing.
No.
And it looked like it kind of reminded me of like Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy kind of shit. It was like super hectic combat, gross enemy designs, and like cool shit happening. So
yeah, the world kind of reminded me of Nier, like the world design, but I haven't played Nier, or I should.
There's so many things to play.
Yeah, it's too many. It was kind of funny because there was that bit where there was like a parasite on someone's head, and they like name drop Eve, and
I was like Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve.
What is Parasite Eve?
It's like a Square Enix like Resident Evil style game on the PlayStation 1.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
It's kind of like turn-based. But
yeah, it's not that. It's definitely not that.
Very, very.
I kind of wish we got some Resident Evil Village DLC news, but I feel like they were kind of, when they announced that, the Capcom thing, they were kind of acting as if they'd only just started working on it. So it might be.
I feel like we might see stuff at TGS.
I think maybe it'll get like released in like middle of next year, early next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Did you see stuff about the Nemesis 3? The Resident Evil 3 like Nemesis thing?
So fake.
I know, it's so fake.
There's like loads of people like going nuts for it. It's like the fake like leaked album art. You don't even have to look that hard. You can tell it's faked.
It's just a statue.
Like, because they haven't even properly cut out Jill's like silhouette. It's still got like white in her hair and stuff. It's not well done. I can't believe that I think people are just so like, sometimes people are so like so they want something to happen so badly that they kind of get a bit dumbfounded by these things, and they just go, oh shit. It's basically what I did when the Red Dead thing happened. Yeah. But like that was a pretty good Photoshop.
That was a very good Photoshop. It seems very legit from the looks of it.
I hate the fact that it's still not coming. I don't think it makes sense for GTA 5 to have another remaster, because all they need to do is release a PS5 patch with like with updates. I know they're doing it because people will buy it, but I'm like, Red Dead 2 could really benefit from PS5, because that game ran well on PS4, but it's like you put that at 60 frames, you give it some more room to breathe, and it doesn't feel like it's being stifled by PlayStation 4. Yeah. That is gonna blow. That shit's gonna rock. But never mind. Then we got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which who fucking cares? I said it last night. It's like all that Borderlands shit feels so stuck in 2012. Like the humor and all of the like design of it. It's
like a Reddit video game.
Yeah.
Just a video game just made for like the Borderlands subreddit.
Forspoken looks fine.
I mean, like, the movement looks fun. It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks like an interesting world. I'm not sure how I feel about the like whole like idea of it being like a modern day girl trapped in a fantasy world. It's like, it kind of sounds like some Disney movie shit, but but like whatever.
I know. Like that cat looked pretty cool though. There was a nice cat in the apartment.
That cat did look really cool.
Yeah.
Apparently New York City is also a playable area, so
okay.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction.
Who gives a shit?
Fucking hell. We were joking last night, being like, oh yeah, Tom Clancy. I really love the books this one's based off of.
The Alien.
I just imagine Ubisoft go into like the Tom Clancy estate to like his family, and they're just like rolling around in money. And the Ubisoft are like, so we're making like a zombie alien one? They're like, yeah, I'm sure he was going to make that at some point, whatever. Just fucking give us the money and just fuck off. And then the Alan Wake remaster gave us a release date.
That's nice. I mean, I
I'm
know the DLC for that, so
all right.
I'll probably get that at some point.
I'm going to buy this one day one.
Fair enough. It's only £25 as well.
Yeah, and they're doing a physical release of it as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I remember loving Alan Wake. And I said it last night as well. Like the game doesn't look great, but it looks about as good as I remember it looking.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you go back and look at the original footage, it does not look that good.
Yeah, I'm sure. I do hope they do American Nightmare as well.
That would be cool. I think a lot of it will depend on how well this is doing, but also, I don't know, man. The fact that they're doing an Alan Wake remaster kind of makes me feel like they're working on a sequel.
I mean, considering that Alan Wake or like Alan Wake stuff was in that Control DLC,
yeah,
makes me think they're definitely doing an Alan Wake too.
Yeah, I feel like but I'm gonna play that day one. I remember the gameplay being kind of fun, and I like Alan Wake, so I'm gonna be there. GTA 5 has now got a new release date of March 2022.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing about that trailer is they showed literally nothing new.
They're not showing nothing. I swear they said ages ago there was new story content in this one.
Yeah, because when they announced it last year, wasn't that the first game that was like officially announced for the PS5?
Yeah, that was the first thing in that first showcase.
Yeah, like because I remember like the Rockstar blog post was like said there'd be more story stuff or something along those lines. But like at least like show off a little bit of that in your trailer. But like
or allude to it, just say new story content. It's like
well, it said add much more, but like that doesn't mean shit.
I mean, it was meant to come out in November this year, and part of me was like, yeah, I'll buy GTA 5. I actually have never owned it physically, and I was like, I'll get it for the collection and also just to play it again on PS5 because it's a pretty good game. But now I'm just like, in March next year, I don't think I'll care.
Yeah, there's quite a lot coming out in March, isn't there?
There's so much coming out in February.
What's coming out in February?
February has Horizon, Sifu, some other shit. There's quite a few. I'm missing out in my head right now. Horizon and Sifu, for me, those are, that's two pretty big. And then I know in March that's when Gran Turismo is coming out as well. Not that I'm like sat here going, oh man, but like, I just don't think I'm gonna care by then. And also we're gonna be at a point where I would hope by March next year we're about to know when God of War's coming out.
Definitely. I mean, like maybe at the Game Awards they'll show something.
Yeah.
God of War's a great Game Awards-y game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like God of War could come out. You remember this, right? Horizon was meant to come out this year.
Yeah.
And so was God of War.
Initially.
Now, I'm gonna just say, if they had both come out this year, this would have been a fucking mental year for PlayStation 5 people.
Yeah, that's a lot of good games.
That's fucking nuts. But regardless, right, it's still been a pretty alright year. You got Returnal and Ratchet, were both pretty great games.
Death Stranding again.
Yeah, and Ghost of Tsushima again, which I haven't bought because I'm like, I don't really have a desire to play that again.
I feel like with like Icky Island expansion, there's been like no hype around it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen much.
Apparently it's good, but it's like it's nothing. It's just more Ghost of Tsushima. It's not like it really changes the game in too many ways. It's just like an end game area with some new story. So it's kind of, I don't know. I will play the director's cut when I feel like I want to play Ghost of Tsushima again.
Yeah, I also feel like that people are kind of soured over the fact you have to pay £10.
Yeah, I feel like Final Fantasy VII did it best, which is where I didn't have to pay anything to play the PS5 version of it.
Yeah,
but I had to pay what was it, £10-15 for the intermission,
and that's fine.
I'm like, that's perfect. If I had to pay £10 for the EK expansion and it was a free upgrade to PS5, I'd already be playing it.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying, 20 to 30 quid just to play this new expansion with some upgraded like visuals and shit. Nah.
It's not worth it.
No. So if they ever put that version of it on sale or like whatever, I'll probably get around to it, but I don't have any desire to go back to it. I'm not sure how I feel about Death Stranding. Like, I think it's really cool that there's a director's cut. I think it's probably going to have some more significant content than these other versions will. And like, I don't know if you saw that most recent trailer that Hideo Kojima dropped, but like, it starts off with the ending shot of Death Stranding.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, is that implying that there's more to go after that bit?
Wasn't it? Wasn't it last week? Norman Reedus said he's in negotiations to do a Death Stranding too.
He said it months and months and months ago. I
think
think he said it.
I
I thought no, it was in the news last week because it got re-brought up about something, but it was in a Japanese interview from like 2019.
Oh, okay, right.
He said, so I don't know. I personally don't feel the need to play Death Stranding 2. I feel like you've sort of accomplished everything you kind of want to with that game.
And even like the director's cut, considering like how much it adds with all the like the delivery options and stuff like that, I'm not really sure how much they can further push the this like delivery gameplay.
Yeah, and it's like it's a really cool thing to do once and play it and be like, that was a great experience, and then move on to something else. I feel like Hideo Kojima would really relish in that, like not focusing on doing sequels. It's more just here's a new idea, it's fucking rocks. Let's go to the next thing. And yeah, it's like I like Death Stranding. I think Death Stranding is one of the most interesting games in existence in PlayStation's library.
Yeah.
But after playing it for 100 hours and enjoying it quite a lot, even though that was 2 years ago, I don't have any desire in me now to be like, I want to play Death Stranding again.
Yeah.
I feel
like Death Stranding can need to be like a very different point in your life to like play it again, because there's just so much in it.
Yeah. I do love the game though. I just think it rocks.
It's a great game. I love it.
It's
I think
great.
one of my favorites.
Then we had a new trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo.
That's great. I want to play that.
Looks hype. I liked Evil Within, so I guess I'll like this to a degree. It didn't look especially creepy to me.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the combat looked interesting, like spell focused combat. That's interesting. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. I
think it looks fun-ish.
It looks fine. It gives me so strong Avengers vibes, and I don't know how to explain that more.
I feel it'd be better than Avengers just because it's like a proper single player.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
the DSX guys.
I think it's just. Oh, is it? It's made by the DSX.
It's Eidos Montreal.
It
was just Human Revolution and Mankind Divided.
I feel like it'll be a great 8 out of 10.
I mean, 8 out of 10 is a very good score.
Well, probably 7 then. I don't know. There's just something about it that seems a little bit uninspired. Like the combat stuff that they showed just doesn't really make me go, yo, I want to play that. Whereas like
an MMO combat.
Yeah. Whereas like I look at 5 seconds of Sifu and I'm like, I need that now.
Yeah. Give me that.
Give me that. Blood Hunt, which is the Vampire Masquerade game.
You get to slide on the floor and shoot guns. That's cool.
Looks fucking awful.
It looks alright, I guess.
It looks fucking awful. It looks so janky. And finally, after that, we got I've been waiting for this. We finally got a good look at Deathloop.
I've never seen any of this before.
I've
seen Deathloop before. What is it?
Did you see that tweet? That's like the real Deathloop is having to see this fucking game at every PlayStation. Yeah. I don't need to see any more Deathloop ever. Like I don't, and I actually pre-ordered Deathloop and I cancelled it because I thought it was an interesting idea. And then when I actually watched the gameplay and saw how clunky it was, and like I was like, I don't want to play this. I don't care.
Like a roguelike?
Kinda.
Yeah. It seems like everyone's actually confused about what it actually is.
Yeah, I think like as far as I'm aware, it's like Dishonored.
Yeah.
But fast paced and not focused on stealth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a loop of I have no fucking clue. That's the thing, is like but the thing is they just keep showing these trailers over and over again. I'm like, I don't need to see this. If people wanted to buy this, they would be buying it by this point.
Yeah.
So whatever. Then they had Chia, which is that sort of cute looking game with the crab.
Oh, cute.
The one that opens with the Last of Us guitar. I was like, yo.
That looks kind of cute.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll do fine. And then we get into the last like big things. So the first thing they showed up was the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection.
Yeah.
Which seems odd to me that they wouldn't just include the other 3 games as well.
Maybe it's because if they just ported the Nathan Drake collection.
Yeah, I guess there's less to be done. there's less to be done with the Nathan Drake collection because they're already 60 frames.
Yeah, but still, they should put it on there just for completionist sake, and also
Yeah.
they're pretty fun games.
I think Uncharted 4 is a great game.
Yeah, I think 4 and Legacy are the best ones.
I'm going to be interested to see how they actually ramp it up for PS5 and PC. Like what they actually do to change it to make it. I don't know, because I think it needs to be slightly more than just frame rates. Like I like frame rates, but like I'm not going to spend money on a frame rate boost.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people getting it on PC are going to be real happy. But if nothing else, I feel like they should have released these 3 on PC. Do you know what I mean? So that someone can play through the entire story at least.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, it's nice it's coming, but like, there's not really much to get. I mean, it's just 2 games I've already played. There's not much to get really excited about.
But 4 is great. 4 is like Uncharted 4 is fucking amazing.
It's a great game.
You know, I've never. The thing is, with all of these remasters and reintroductions of things, it's like the thing that actually gets me the most excited about any of these stuff is new content.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't have been too hard to add some sort of extra stuff to like Uncharted 4, even if it was just things like, yo, this is a side temple that you can play from the main menu. I don't know. It doesn't feel necessary, actually, now I'm saying that out loud, but it's like, there's not a lot to get excited about when all the upgrades are just resolutions of frame rates. It's like, cool, but like, was I going to replay Uncharted 4 anytime soon anyway?
You played it again last year, didn't you?
Yeah, before Last of Us 2 came out, yeah. And it's good. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
It's great fun. It's the same as Last of Us 2, where it's like there's so many options for animation, like gameplay, that it feels like you barely scratched the surface just playing it through the first time. But yeah, it's good. Then we get into the first big boy announcement, which was you see the Insomniac logo come up, you see Marvel come up, you're like, okay, this is Spider-Man.
Spider-Boy.
And then it was like people dead in a bar. And I'm like, is this Punisher? Is this Daredevil? Instantly, the first 2 things I thought were Daredevil and Punisher.
Right. Punisher.
Daredevil was the one I was like, oh, it's going to be Daredevil. Because people have been asking for that for a while. And then you see my boy Logan having a sip in a cowboy hat, doing some shit. And then we see his claws come out. Marvel's Wolverine. I can't wait.
I think I think it's the thing I'm most excited about. Just like, there's a slice dudes up.
What the fuck is this game going to be? Because also, if you read like the blog posts, they're talking about it being like an emotive and like suspenseful game.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's not going to be open world, and it might just be like a super focused, like linear narrative Marvel Wolverine game.
I'd be very happy with either one. To be honest. But like,
I'm perfect. I mean, if we're talking like a Ratchet and Clank cinematic level of like a Wolverine game, right? Where it's not a massive open world, but it's like super polished with like.
If you have like one town, you get to walk around.
Yeah, I just imagine the combat's gonna rock.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I was thinking last night that I kind of wish this was made by the people who make Yakuza. Imagine like a Yakuza Wolverine game. That'd be like amazing.
What, you just walk around as Wolverine, people try and pick fights with you?
Yeah, and it's like, and it's the same writers who write like Kazuma Kiryu, and
that would be fucking nuts.
I'd love that, but Insomniac's great.
I don't know what deal Insomniac signed with the devil, bro. They've already released 2 games on PS5,
and they've been like constantly updating those 2 games to make.
Yeah, and also both of them are really good.
Yeah.
And then, so the team that worked on Miles Morales is the one that's making Wolverine, and the other team are the one that's making Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just trying to think about what an Insomniac Wolverine game looks like. I'm like, yeah. And if it is like a narrative linear game, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
That's all I want.
You know, I'm so hyped. I didn't expect it. I've not seen any leaks about it. I've not seen any rumors. I was just like,
you'd see that Jason Schreier like tweeted to expect a superhero game, but that wasn't exact. But like I thought, but when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy came up, I was kind of just thought, oh, it'll be that or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, if it's like I'm sure like my memories of X-Men Origins Wolverine are somewhat the video game are somewhat like rose tinted. But if it's like as fun as I remember that game being, I think it'll be something good.
That game had a lot going for it just because it was a really consistent brawler with like super visceral, like gross combat. And I feel like there's actually like blood splatter and stuff in the bar in that trailer, so I feel like they might go down the more violent route.
Yeah, I
But
think
but I feel like the combat isn't going to be like X-Men. I feel like it's going to be more like an Arkham Spider-Man mix. But I feel like you could do something creative with like the blades type thing, where like Metal Gear Rising type of like dismemberment combat type shit. Where it's all like, what's the other game that's dismemberment recently with blades and shit? Oh, Skyward Sword. But where it's like you like rather than like you tap X to hit someone, it's like your claws are mapped to like the right stick or something for like precision with blades and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know something. I feel like whatever they're going to do, they're probably going to knock it out the park. So I'm just really excited. I'm really excited for probably end of next year when we get to see the gameplay for that for the first time.
Yeah, I just hope to get to like ride around in a truck and just be sad on Mars and like do air combos where like juggle people in the air.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see what that game turns out to be. Then we had Gran Turismo 7.
You get to drive a car.
Drive a car, but it's also like there is something about Gran Turismo that is appealing, like the actual ridiculous amount of high fidelity they have on those games, and also just like the idea of just playing a racing game. Every now and again, you kind of get a small urge to go, I want to play a racing game. But I don't. Gran Turismo 7 isn't the type of thing that I'm going to pick up day one. But if it ever came to like the PlayStation Plus collection or like a monthly game, I'd play it.
Yeah.
So at this point, I was like, that might be the end of the conference.
Yeah.
And then we got Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for that.
And I was like, how the fuck are Insomniac doing this? They sort of implied that Spider-Man and Wolverine take place in the same universe.
In that blog post, yeah, because said I think they do.
And then also they've confirmed it's not co-op, it's a single-player game, which I'm so happy about. But loads of people were saying, oh, it needs to be co-op. It needs to be co-op if it's two Spider-Man. I'm like, bro, where in Insomniac Spider-Man did you feel like, oh yeah, co-op would work in this?
Yeah, because I would have thought it'd be like GTA 5 switching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool. I think if it's not that, I think ultimately it's probably going to be you switch between the two of them at various points in the game.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you can like switch back and forth freely once you finish the story. It looks like the two main antagonists are going to be Kraven and Venom.
That's great. Those are like the two coolest Spider-Man villains.
And like the logo at the end is like the Venom style advanced suit Spider-Man logo.
If you have to play as like Miles Morales and like fight Peter Parker,
oh shit, that would be cool. But it's like we can't get a black suit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, man.
And they even said that in the blog post. They were like talking about the suits that you get to wear, and they were like, "There'll be more about that suit." So I'm real excited for this game.
I feel we sound great.
It's
the two Spider-Man games so far have been very good. So
they have been so good, and it's like looking at 2018, right? You had Spider-Man and God of War, and those were both great games, right? But I think what really cemented them in my head was playing through them and going, this is going to be such a great sequel.
Yeah.
Looking at both of them and figuring out what is next, you're like, the next game in this is going to fucking rock. And both God of War and Spider-Man did really good jobs of setting up narratively what's to come. So we know we've got Venom now. We know we've got Kraven. And if they're recreating the Back in Black storyline from the comics where Kraven hunts down the symbiote Spider-Man kind of thing, like, I don't know, man. I feel like Insomniac are going to do some really interesting twists and play around with like the Spider-Man mythos again. And
I hope they do. I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope they get real weird with it. That's what.
I can't wait to see gameplay and just more of it. I want to play it actually. And this is the power that Sony have, right? I don't need to see anything about Spider-Man 2 apart from a logo and a release date, and I'll be there and I'll be buying it.
Yeah, day one.
Same as God of War. if anything, I've watched that God of War Ragnarok trailer a lot of times already. I've watched it like 20 times. And I'm kind of like, maybe you've shown too much.
Well, I mean, it's probably because you watched it so many times.
Probably. But Spider-Man, I don't know, man. I can't wait. I can't, there's the thought in my head of sitting down to play Spider-Man 2. And I know I'm going to have like 15 hours of great like narrative shit. And then like another 5 to 6 hours of like side mission clean out and get the platinum. Oh, there's going to be some epic boss fights. I'm going to do a new game plus. Oh my God, that just sounds like fucking heaven.
That's all you ever want.
It sounds like fucking heaven.
Yeah.
I can't fucking wait. I think that game's got a fucking rock. And then I reckon Wolverine will come out like either the year or 2 years after.
Yeah, I think maybe they announced Wolverine a bit early.
I can sort of understand why though, because like they're probably super excited about it. And also like if you think about everything else that's like, I mean, Knights of the Old Republic thing has been rumored for ages, right? Which is cool that they managed to keep that under wraps, but it's like the fact they managed to keep a Wolverine Marvel game under wraps is kind of impressive. They managed to do it with Spider-Man as well, the first Spider-Man game. But it's like it must be really hard to make every single person sign an NDA to say you can never ever talk about this.
No matter how like the Marvel Spider-Man video game has like better protection from leaks than the movies.
Yeah. Which we eating good this year if you like Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm unbelievably hyped for Spider-Man 2, and I think it's got the potential to really go nuts. Go nuts so crazy. I'm still trying to figure out whether it's so cool that Tony Todd's voicing Venom as well.
That's great.
It's awesome, but it's also like I wonder if Venom is Harry Osborn or whether it escapes off of Harry Osborn or what. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm really excited for this game. I'm gonna be there day zero, bro. I'll be there at midnight launch if I can.
That sounds
and then my favorite announcement of the entire thing, which is a thing that I'm most excited about, is God of War Ragnarok, because holy fucking shit!
It looks like God of War.
Well, I remember when the first one came out, and I just kept saying like, look, just use the same engine, make it look prettier, introduce some new combat stuff, and just carry on the game because I just want to know what the story is.
Yeah.
I think this game has the capacity to be incredibly vast.
I mean, the first game is so big.
Yeah, and this one already shows lands outside of like the Lake of the Nine shit. But also they've said in the blog post that you can go to all 9 realms.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
was it Misselheim, the one with all the combat challenges in the first one? That was
fun. And then they've got Asgard in it this time as well, which I'm like, where is this going to go, bro?
Yeah, because there's the Asgard warriors coming down from like the Bifrost.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. That'd be such a fun way to introduce enemies.
And Thor's like, are you a sensible and what is it? A calm and that's it. A calm and patient man. He's asking Kratos if he's a calm and patient man, and you're just like, I can't wait for the part where you get to smash Thor's face in with his own hammer or some shit.
He gets to use his hammer as a weapon.
Yeah, I just really hope they double down on Kratos killing these gods. I know the whole point is that like they need to break this cycle of killing gods because he knows how bad it turned out last time. But I feel like it's so satisfying to kill a god in each of these games.
Also, the combat looks so fun because you have like the chains and uses them to like pull himself up.
Yeah, it looks a lot more like dynamic and like moving about the environment, jumping off of ledges and shit, doing shit. It looks a little, and actually the biggest thing that's exciting me about it is them confirming that it's the last part of this narrative. That hikes me up beyond all belief because for the longest time, until last night, I think everyone believed this to be the second of a trilogy.
Yeah.
The fact that it is the finale, it's like, okay, this is it then. Where is this going to go? How is this going to wrap up? I'm not really sure what the narrative's going to be. And I'm in awe of how much we saw of it last night.
Dude, they should have a hefty chunk.
Yeah. I'm super hyped to just play it and feel the combat. And that, out of everything we talked about, in terms of big releases, that is probably the most prevalent one. I feel like that what they showed was so polished and so finished that I'm like, you were ready to release this in like a year max.
Yeah, I think it'll come out middle of next year.
If it comes out April, May-ish, June, July-ish, I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
It would have been insane if that came out this year.
If they dropped like November, whatever.
That would have been insane. Would have been fucking nuts.
I always walk around the little town in the trailer, like that little village.
It's weird because there's never been that type of interaction in any God of War game. Like the only interaction Kratos used to be able to do with civilians was rip them in half.
Or fuck them.
Yeah. Or both.
Yeah.
The game looks like they're just sort of doubling down on the same combat shit, the same narrative, and just giving us more of that. And I'm like, I'm so fine with that. I just honestly, like the combat looks great, but I just want to know what the story is. I want to know how the story wraps up. We've been waiting 3 years, 4 years by the time it comes out. And it's like, I just want to know what the fuck's happening.
You're gonna replay the first one again.
When they announce a release date, I will get my PS3 collection out and I will play 1, 2, 3, and 5 and 18.
What about Ascension?
Nah.
Oh.
Ascension just always feels like a bit of a back tread. It doesn't really add anything to the story either.
Okay.
But 1 and 2 are great. 3's pretty good. And then leading on to Ragnarok is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm just I can't wait to beat some Norse gods in. I hope the thing is the weakest parts of 18 were like, there was a lot of the same mini boss fights. There weren't too many boss fights. There was a lot to do with like intimacy and narrative scale, but not too much in terms of that like classic God of War scale, which is fine because they're going for a different vibe. But I just hope that there's a lot more catharsis and like climax in this one, because what they're basically saying is this is the God of War 3 of the Norse stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Pretty big. It's a pretty big statement.
Pretty
big. But yeah, I'm unbelievably hyped for this game. And I'm gonna be there day 0. I'm gonna be there day -1, bro. I'm gonna break into a game store and steal the copies.
Break into Sports Direct.
So Harry, what did you think of the PlayStation Showcase?
It was fun, especially the last 10 minutes or so. It was a good time overall, I think.
It's like the most consistent freak out I've had over like the last few months.
Yeah, definitely in the past year.
Yeah. I mean, what was the only other big freak out I had with Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, Elden Ring comes out in January.
Is that January? That's so soon. It's like 3 months away. 4 months even. It's a whole new Souls game.
I always forget about that. It's like because they don't do any marketing for it.
They don't need to, just sell copies by itself.
I've been waiting for them to announce like a special edition of it.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it. If they haven't done it by January, I'm just going to assume there isn't one.
Yeah, fair enough.
But oh my god! So in January we got Elden Ring. February we got Horizon Sifu. March we got Gran Turismo and GTA 5.
There's probably something you're forgetting. It goes by Tokyo as well. I think that's February.
But and Alan Wake obviously this year. So I'm pretty sure God of War will be out, if not in September, by September next year.
I reckon, yeah.
By this time next year, I reckon we will have played it. Definitely. I'd hope so. And then the year after, Spider-Man.
And then Wolverine, eventually.
And I feel like them saying 2023 is setting realistic expectations, but also if they know it's going to be 2023, and like PlayStation normally like to do one big thing in the start of the year, one big thing at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe Spider-Man 2 is going to be their big thing for the start of 2023.
Maybe.
If we're talking about a
That's
March 2023 release date, that ain't far.
realistically now. It's only a year and a half.
Yeah, it's like, and that after God of War, that wouldn't be that much of a space.
No.
So,
So, and there's probably some other shit we're forgetting that they're going to announce soon.
yeah, and there's also other games that are like not PlayStation exclusive that will come.
Yeah.
I think next year is going to be the first year we don't get a new Resident Evil game in a while.
Not even a spin-off.
I don't think we will.
I mean, but no, we're getting our reverse next year. What are you talking about?
I reckon we'll get DLC for a village, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're completely overhauling our reverse from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I mean, if they make it more like a horde mode or some shit, or like they just make it more interesting, I'm down to play it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, right now, my brain is like, okay, Elden Ring in January, Sifu in February. I'm like, that's getting me like hyped.
Yeah.
Fucking Elden Ring, bro. How do I forget that?
That's
The other thing that there's actually like smaller games that I want though that haven't been that, like Hollow Knight Silksong, that got announced years ago, and like people just want an update. Like I want to play that shit. Hollow Knight fucking rocks.
Oh yeah, it's great. I'm very much enjoying it.
So good.
It feels like an Xbox Live Arcade game I would have played in like 2012, and I say that in like the best way possible.
But it's like it's so polished and like so satisfying as well, just to play through and like explore and get like it's amazing.
Just out the place, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Last of Us Factions will come at some point.
I reckon that'll be next year.
Yeah, should be. The thing is, right, like video games tend to move in on years and off years. Like every other year tends to be a big hit. So you think like 2018, you had Red Dead 2, Spider-Man, and God of War in the same year.
Yeah.
That year was not so crazy. But then 2019 was like Days Gone and Death Stranding, which like
it's sort of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, but it's sort of like less of a big hit year. Do you know what I mean? Like all three of those games are like all three of those games, maybe not Days Gone, but at least the two of them could be considered like great 9 out of 10s. But if you're talking about like Red Dead and God of War in the same year, that's nuts.
Yeah.
And then I thought because last year was kind of lackluster a little bit. Well, like, what did we even get last year?
Last of Us.
Oh shit, we had Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
So it was like last year was a good year, and so I think I was expecting, and because of COVID as well, I was like, yeah, 2021 is going to be like an okay year. There's not going to be much, and that's kind of what it is. You've got Returnal and Ratchet and Clank, and probably not much else for the rest of the year. But then next year, hopefully, if all the stars are aligning, it's going to be a big hit. I can't wait. I'm sure. We'll. Sorry, go on.
I saw on that Cuphead DLC last year.
Yeah.
They said it was going to come this year, and they still haven't announced a new release date or any new information. And it's been in development for like 3 years or something.
Shit ain't coming.
It'll be great when it does come.
When you figure out how hard it is for them to make Cuphead stuff, it's like, you know what, bro? Don't announce it. Just release it. Just announce it like a week before you're about to release it.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can commit to a specific day because it's so much work.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable amount of work. But as of this year, right, I've really enjoyed Hades.
Yeah.
I still need to properly play Ratchet and Clank.
Have you not finished it?
I only played like the intro.
Right.
And like I'm trying to replay Last of Us 2 right now. So where the fuck is Wolfenstein 3?
That's been well, it came out, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
You think you're funny? I think the reason we didn't enjoy that was because we didn't tweak our builds quite right.
I think we should have done a hell of a lot more tweaking.
Should have tweaked and twerked. If you could pass the time and freeze yourself to any one of these game releases, which one would you go to?
What's just like devour it as much as possible?
Yeah.
Probably, realistically, Spider-Man 2. I think
Mm.
it's the most real. I mean, like, I don't even know when Wolverine's coming out, and
We
Spider-Man.
don't even we still don't really know what Wolverine is, right? It might be like a visual
That's good.
novel.
I'll play it. But yeah, no, probably Spider-Man 2, I think, and I know yours would be God of War.
I think it's just God of War. Like the first one was like a 20-hour super polished story experience with like loads of extra side stuff, and it looks like they're just doubling down on that, and it's going to be a climactic finish. I'm like, why wouldn't I want to play that?
What was going to happen after Ragnarok?
The way they worded it by saying this is the end of the Norse series makes me think we are going into different mythologies.
Yeah.
They might take like a 5-year gap before going on to the next one because it sounds like Santa Monica have other ideas of things they want to work on.
Yeah.
Because don't forget they haven't done anything other than God of War for like the last 2 decades. So yeah, I think I feel like I don't know because in the end of God of War 1 it sort of shows that prophecy of Kratos dying.
Maybe he plays his son.
Yeah, I'm like maybe Kratos is gonna die in Ragnarok. This is gonna be his send off.
Damn.
That would be heavy.
That would be very heavy.
And then maybe the next game picks up with like adult Atreus. But then it's like if Atreus continues on the tradition, right? It defeats the entire point of what these 2 games are going for.
Yeah.
Which is the idea that get away from violence and from war and all of this other stuff and just like chill the fuck out. Don't repeat the same mistakes as I did, dude. So I don't know. I kind of hope Kratos doesn't die, but I also feel like in the original God of War 2, the plot is that Zeus kills Kratos, and Kratos is so pissed about it that he climbs his way out of the underworld, finds the Sisters of Fate, kills them, and then reverses the strings of time so that he can pop up next to Zeus as he kills him and go, "Bitch, I'm gonna kill you." That is the plot of God of War 2, and I'm like, I want some like not so time manipulation shit going on.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like things that allude to that in the first game. The fact that Jormungandr is Loki's son, and it's like he recognizes Loki, and it's like, so is this just like a big time loop of some shit? I do like the theory that Odin is Kratos, because it also makes sense within the lore because Odin is the father of Loki.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea that Odin is a version of Kratos that got to. I read a theory about it and it was interesting because a lot of people were saying Kratos was Tyr, and obviously that's not the case because he's in this game. But the idea that like because there's all this like time convolution shit and different timelines and shit within Norse mythology that it could be something else. The idea that Odin was a version of Kratos that after God of War 3, he didn't stop being a murderous like lunatic.
Also, if you have to fight yourself.
So he didn't chill out after God of War 3. He just doubled down on it and became a god of a new realm. And so the idea that Odin is like Kratos in this universe is Norse version of Kratos in a different timeline or some shit. Whatever. We will see what happens. But I feel like there's so much left in the first one that implies at bigger things, that like implies that the idea that the world is already set in stone and things are looping, that it's like I'm super interested to see what the narrative in this one is. And I don't know, I just can't wait to sit down, crack open some cold ones, swing my axe around and shit.
Yeah, that'll be a hell of a time.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Harrison, do you have any final notes?
Not really. I can't need to go to the toilet, so not really.
Oh, shit. My dude growing a tail right now.
Do you have any final notes?
I'm just real excited for Wolverine and Spider-Man and God of War. And I'm interested to see what Knights of the Old Republic looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of a departure aesthetically it's going to be.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll try and tie it into the new Lucasfilm stuff.
I hope they just don't. I hope they just make it like a solid game with the same narrative and just like focus on that.
Sure. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for Last of Us 3, which is definitely nearly done. I'm sure it's nearly done.
definitely. And if you
It's
consider a
nearly
lot of factions.
they got to nearly finish it.
Did you see that there was that leaked footage from Last of Us Factions
Yeah.
from a few months ago? I reckon like it can't be too far off, really.
No, I feel like they probably were aiming for this year and they just got a little bit too ambitious with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a very naughty dog thing to do.
Hmm.
All right, fella. Well, enjoy your toilet.
I will
Um,
enjoy my toilet. I'll try not to
I'm
fall.
sure. I'm sure we will come back again when we have something we want to talk about, whether that be Sifu or if you decide to get Elden Ring or some shit. We will see.
Like if I play Bloodborne,
Finish Bloodborne, bro.
Demon Souls, and Dead Dark Souls, and
At
fucking.
least finish Bloodborne.
I'll try and finish Bloodborne.
Do it today.
I'll do it. It's my day
What
off.
boss? What was the last boss you killed?
I still haven't got. I'm still just in the Cathedral Ward.
Bro, what the fuck? That's like the first 9%.
They'll just like open up pathways and like dying to the same. It's because I haven't like I've been at work, so I haven't been able to like put in like the proper focus to like get good at it.
Get good. All right. Well, I'll speak to you soon.
All right, see you soon, brother.
All right. Bye.